Hey, what's up everyone? PersNikity here. Welcome back to my walkthrough for Rime, and we are moving on to part 2. And right off the bat, you are going to be following this fox that we unlocked in the first video, and we're going to be introduced to a new type of puzzle. So you will see that the fox jumps up here, and we can't yet reach him. So if you turn around, you'll be able to see this little statue that is shaped like an hourglass. If you sing to the statue, the essence will raise this platform, and if you run quick enough, you can climb these stairs and jump up to the platform to get up there. That's how the hourglass puzzle works. And now we're going to have a brief little scene with our friend, the fox. So I got cut off right there, but a brief note, you'll be seeing quite a few of those hourglass statues, and the point is, you'll notice that the last one, when I sang to it, it raised the platform. If you're not quick enough, the platform will go back down, and you'll have to sing to the statue again. So that should tell you that the statues are, or the hourglass statues are time dependent. You have a certain amount of time to do whatever it is the statue lets you do. If you're not quick enough, you'll have to go back and sing to the statue again. Now, if you want, you can go over there. There is another collectible, but instead you're going to see these 3 orbs, or these 3 statues here. And you'll notice that when you blow on them, their essence go over to this wall. Now, you need to get all 3 at once, so what you're going to want to do is blow on those 2, and then immediately run over to the 3rd one, sing to it, and the door will unlock. That's another one that you have to do quickly. If you only sing to the first 2, their essences will go to the door, but they'll only stay there a couple seconds. So you have to make sure you do all 3 within a very limited amount of time. But most of this is pretty self-explanatory, simple to do puzzles. Now, what I'm going to do for the first type of each puzzle, I will walk you through it. So another one you'll see here, you'll see this little altar. If you activate it, you will activate this vision here. And what you have to do with the right joystick is line up the gold pieces to match something in the environment. So in this case, you have to match up those gold arches and line them up with the doorway. And then that will open the secret entrance, inside where the door is covered, or however you want to phrase it. But yeah, so every time we encounter a new type of puzzle, I will kind of walk you through how the mechanic works and everything like that. But for the most part, they're all pretty simple. This level in particular, or this part here, this video, really just introduces you to most of the puzzles so that you don't get stuck, or you have to learn at some point, and then every time in the future when we come to a puzzle, you'll know exactly what it is you need to do. Now, for those of you new to my channel, welcome. Hope you're enjoying these videos so far. If you are, feel free to like the video. You can subscribe to my channel. I do walkthroughs for a lot of different games. Also, I always appreciate when people leave feedback or opinions or anything about the video game in general. So if you want to, feel free to leave a comment about anything, any thoughts you have. I usually try to reply to all comments, as soon as I can, at least on a somewhat timely basis. But one thing I wanted to point out is it's always hard as a walkthrough maker when the game is not separated into levels or chapters, because then it's up to me to separate the game in the most logical way that I see fit. And so, given the fact that I like to keep my videos anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes, I'm going to do my best to do just that. So the first video was about 13 minutes. This one's about 22. So the first, it works out pretty nicely. But the point is, I'm going to try in the title to give you as much information as I can, because the problem is, when a lot of people watch my walkthroughs, they're watching the walkthroughs because they're stuck and they need to figure out how to get unstuck. And it's hard to do that if you can't just look up the chapter, because then, you know, you're going to click on my video and you're going to have to scan through the whole thing until you find the part that you need. Now, I'll get back to that in a second. This is going to be the first little puzzle that might throw you for a loop. So what you need to do is you need to drag the statue over here. These are I call them the skull blocks. That's what they look like to me. But after you move that skull block, then you're going to come to this wheel here, and you are going to turn the vision altar all the way around so that it faces the opposite direction. Then you're going to activate it, and you're going to line these up as such. And you're going to see a little bit of a new mechanic here. So this time, instead of a door opening, you can see that a new object has formed. And now we can use this new object for the puzzle. So once again, rotate the altar back to its original position. And now you're going to move this skull block over to where we originally got it from. You'll always know where to put the skull blocks most of the time, because you can see the little indicator on the floor that will tell you for the puzzles where you need to place the skull block so that you can properly line it up inside the vision altar. So once you get it there, again, just the same exact thing, and now you can see that we have both halves of the arch that make up that doorway way off in the distance. So go ahead and of course line them up, and there you go, another puzzle solved. So anyway, I was talking right before that I was talking about how I'm going to organize my videos. I'm going to try to make the titles as descriptive as possible. So for example, the first video was called The 4 Fox Statues, and that is because I spent the majority of the video finding the 4 fox statues. This video is going to be called something along the lines of Light Doors and Blue Orbs, and that is because those are the two main puzzle solving mechanics we come across. Obviously you've already seen the light doors, that's the best name I could think of for them, and the next couple puzzles we'll see involve these blue orbs that you have to yell at, and of course we'll get to that a little later on. And then of course, one thing I'm going to try to do is in the commentary near the beginning of the video, near the beginning of every video after this, I'm going to try to very briefly highlight what the video contains. That way if you just watch the beginning, you'll know exactly what it is the video has, and you can skip to whatever section you need to. But again, you know, it's just one of those things you have to deal with when games don't separate themselves into well-defined chapters. It makes it hard for me, and it makes it hard for the viewer. Now you're going to come to this area here, and I'm going to show you kind of what our goal is. So when you blow on this, or I keep saying blow, you sing or yell. When you yell to this statue, you see that it activates this fountain, but the fountain is not strong enough, or your yell is not strong enough. But what you're trying to do is fill that hole with water. And so you see this little picture on the ground, and basically what that picture is saying is you need to activate the beacon, the strongest beacon, and then it will set off a chain reaction, and then there you go, you'll have the puzzle solved. So the cool thing about this game is it does a very good job at making the game linear without the game feeling like it's linear, because if you look around you, this island is huge, the environment is giant, and it really gives you this sense of exploration and adventure. But at its core, the game does a really good job at leading you on the one and only correct path. So you see there's not a lot of room for alternate paths to take. Of course, you could always explore, and that's how you find a lot of the collectibles, but the point is the game gives you that choice. There's not a whole lot of ways you're going to get lost here. Now you're going to blow on the hourglass puzzle. The platform will rise, and then you're going to jump the gap over here. If you happen to not be quick enough, of course, you can just yell at the hourglass statue as much as you want until you get it. And you're going to drop down here, and what you're going to want to do, so this is our first example with the orb. So what this orb does is it basically magnifies your yell. So you see that I yell, this wave, this spherical wave emits from it, and it activated the statue up on that platform that otherwise I could not reach. And now what you're going to do, you're going to use this again. You're going to put it on the signal here. You're going to yell at it, and what that will do is it will activate all 4 of these statues at once, and so that will successfully unlock the door. And then of course all you need to do is once again yell at the hourglass statue to raise the platform, and that will allow you to get up to the door. So that's another important puzzle solving mechanic that we're going to see a lot of in this video, the blue orbs. And what that does, what those do is they emit, or they what was the word I used earlier? I can't remember what I said, but they basically strengthen they amplify your yell, and they emit it out to further distances so that you can activate more statues than you otherwise could without the orb. So what you're going to do here, yell at it to activate that hourglass statue way off in the distance, then push it over here. You'll see that that door unlocks, and then you're going to yell at it again to activate all 3 of these statues. Now if you're not quick enough, that little secret door will spin back around, and you'll have to just drag the orb back and blow on the hourglass again, and then, you know, just repeat the same thing. But, you know, all in all, the puzzles in this game really aren't that difficult. I don't think I've come across a single one yet that has stumped me for more than a minute. And so, with that being said, it kind of leads me to wonder what the developers are going for in this game. So, one thing I've noticed is the reviews so far for this game are pretty evenly mixed. There are a handful of medium to low reviews, and there's also a handful of pretty high reviews. I've seen a lot of places rating it 9 out of 10, and I've seen a lot of places rating it 6 out of 10. I think 6 out of 10 is the lowest I've seen. There could have been obviously more published since I last looked, but it's getting pretty mixed reviews, and I gotta say, so far I really enjoy it. I love the artistic style. I love the fact that it's linear without making it feel too linear. I love the soundtrack. Once in a while, the mechanics will kind of mess up, and I think I'm about to actually come to an example of that, particularly when you try to climb up a ledge. The camera angle will sometimes mess you up. So you see right here, I'm trying to climb up the ledge, but because of the camera angle, it just keeps shimmying me left and right, and I was starting to get kind of annoyed until finally it worked. And that happened a lot in my initial playthrough. And so I've tried to kind of practice that so that it doesn't happen as much in the official walkthrough playthrough that I'm filming. But anyway, if you yell at that orb, you'll see exactly what that previous picture showed. It set off a chain reaction which was strong enough to activate these 3 statues down here, and then the hole has been successfully filled with water, and that will allow us to pick up the first of 2 keys. So, should have probably said that earlier. To get through this section, there's a statue, and the statue takes 2 keys, so we have to find the 2 keys, obviously, to progress further into the game. But anyway, the point, or one of the points I was trying to make is, like I was saying, the puzzles are all really simple, and you know, there's no combat in the game, at least not yet. There's no boss fights or anything like that. So it almost leads me to wonder what the developers' goals are. You know, are they trying to make a challenging puzzle platformer game? Are they trying to just make like a relaxing experience that doesn't, you know, tax your brain too hard? Because so far it seems like that. It seems like they're just trying to make a relaxing atmosphere where you can run around, find collectibles, and you can just solve puzzles that aren't too hard. Because, you know, everyone likes easy puzzles. It makes you feel smart, it makes you, you know, it allows you to have fun. But of course, if you don't have puzzles that are, you know, at least a little bit challenging, it also can leave the player bored or just dissatisfied with the whole experience. So you got to find a good balance, and so far I think this game is doing an alright job. Like I said, most of the puzzles are pretty easy. Some of the puzzles involve a bit of climbing and parkour like we just did, and then like I said, there's a couple puzzles that I've come across that maybe stumped me for a little bit, maybe, but nothing longer than like a minute or 2. So, you know, we'll have to see what the game holds in store for us. I'm pretty much experiencing this game at the same pace as you, because what I do is I play through a section and then I record that section. Then I play through the next section and then I record the next section. So, you know, at the time of recording this voiceover, I do not know what the game has in store for me. So in that sense, I'm at the same level as you. I know what this level has in store for me, or this video, but not the whole game in general. Now, you're going to come to this area here, and similar thing to what we saw in the first video, you're going to lure the pig over here and throw the fruit into this location so that he breaks the branches that were blocking your way, and then you can successfully get through this door. Now we're going to be introduced to another mechanic, which is these smaller blue orbs that you have to place on these little altars. And you see that when you do that, typically something activates. And so what you're going to want to do is activate it. Now you're going to want to throw the blue orb across the gap and then jump over and put the blue orb into the next altar to unlock the door. And this is something that we're also going to be doing a little bit of later on to come, and it's actually it makes up one of the puzzles that was actually a tiny bit difficult that I noted earlier. But yeah, so far I gotta say I really don't have any problems with this game so far. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very relaxing. Like I said, beautiful artistic style. Just kind of a unique game, and I think a lot of people will like it. I'm not sure if a lot of people will be willing to pay $30 for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the initial sales are pretty low, and then maybe later on when there's a price drop, those sales go up. But I guess we'll see what happens. And so here's what you're going to want to do here. You're going to want to pick up this orb and drop it on that platform that I dropped it on. Now you're going to pick up this orb and put it not to the left, but to the right. So I just wanted to show you that every time you put an orb on an altar, it does something different. The left one will lower the platform. The right one over here will raise this platform. And so now, remember, we put the initial orb at rest here. And so now you can pick that up and bring it to the other side. And now what you're going to do is let it down right here and then jump back down, shift the orb over to lower the platform. I think it's easier to just watch, and you'll notice that every time I pick up this orb, that little fish opens its mouth and reveals a new orb. Now the way this works is you are only allowed to use 2 orbs at a time. So if you were to pick up the orb from the fish's mouth, this orb that I'm holding right now would have disappeared. The only way an orb will not disappear is if it is currently already in an altar. But of course, if it's in an altar, then the fish's mouth will be closed. So you truly can only have 2 orbs at once. And that's how you do it, exactly what you saw me do right there. Pretty simple, but it can be a bit difficult your first time through. So hopefully that helps you figure things out. And then you can go through the door and line up the key, and that will of course unlock the second key, which will allow us to basically progress through the rest of the game. Now for you guys that care about trophies and achievements, the game has 31 achievements, 32 trophies, since you have to include the Platinum, which is the PlayStation exclusive. As far as the Nintendo Switch goes, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about the Switch. I am not a Nintendo person. I don't know if the Switch has any type of trophy or achievement equivalent. I feel like they should, because I feel like that's one of the best things about modern day gaming, but I don't know. So if you have the Switch, you know, if you happen to know, feel free to leave a comment. But of course, on PlayStation and Xbox, there are going to be 31 different achievements. So anyway, I'm probably not going to be making video guides for those, just because they're not very well defined. Like, the trophy descriptions aren't very well defined, and I always hate that because I don't like to have to sit there and try to figure out what some little riddle is telling me. I'd rather the developers just tell you what the trophies are so that you can just do them. So chances are at this point, I don't think I'm going to make any trophy or achievement guides. I might change my mind, who knows. But for now, I'm just going to focus on the walkthrough itself. And we're actually coming to basically the end of the island section. So after this video, we're going to be in a different area, which I think is called like the Labyrinth, possibly. I'm not sure of the exact name. But anyway, you will cross that giant bridge, and I thought about ending the video here, but there is just one more little thing we have to do that I think it makes more sense to put in this video as opposed to the next video. Now, one more thing, if you are new to my channel, you'll notice that I have not shut up once during this video. That's just how I like to make my videos. I like to commentate through the whole thing. I like it to feel like a podcast almost, just with a visual element, which is the gameplay. I understand that a lot of you won't like that, and so, I never have any hard feelings if you prefer to watch someone else's no commentary walkthrough. But if you are watching mine, I'd love to hear from you. You can leave a comment below letting me know what you thought about the commentary or anything like that. My voice in this video has probably been a bit more mellow than it usually is. That's because I'm recording this walkthrough kind of late, kind of tired, and I don't want to wake up everyone in the house. But anyway, this is the last little puzzle we have to solve. So you have this giant gold ball, and it turns out that this basically controls the time setting on this island. So you'll notice that as I roll it, it shifts from night to day, and what you're looking for here is this shadow to light up on the left side of the screen. You will feel the controller vibrate, so there's no worry there. It should be pretty easy to spot, and then what you're going to do is you're going to jump up on the other block and activate the second light. And the way that puzzle works is the one on the left lit up because there was a statue there which kind of activated it once the light was aligned properly, but then there's no statue on the right side, so that's where you come in, just to make a little sense of the puzzle so it doesn't seem like what I did was completely random. But anyway, you're going to cross this giant bridge, and we are going to end up in the next section of the game. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. If you have the game, I definitely encourage you to play it and explore, but otherwise, I hope you continue on with this walkthrough.